So I was inspired to do this little rant about the 14900K, 9800 X3D. Just quick little video here. I just wanted to share my thoughts because it's been in our space lately, talking about these two products related to Battlefield and the testing that a lot of creators have done with the open beta. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on the 9800 X3D as much as I can because I haven't tested it, and the 14900K, and the utility of stock versus stock comparisons. How useful are they? And are they really tailored toward, your average, your everyman, your John Q gamer? Or does that really, do those kinds of benchmarks really matter toward the average user? The assumption is that they do, but I got to counter signal that a little bit, because if I'm pulling 230 watts on stock clocks in Battlefield, I think I've got a problem. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, that's a problem. See that? And I go, God, I better solve that problem. I recognize that as a problem, wouldn't you? And maybe I wonder, like Steve, in Hardware Unboxed, I'm not slamming another creator, and it's not my intention. I have my problem with stock versus stock for this reason, but I'm not, there are a lot of channels who do that, and that content can be useful on day one, etc. So I'm not trying to slam a content creator, especially one so big, because I'm not like trying to chase clout, or I wouldn't want that being said of me. But my issue though is that if you've got a problem and you're noticing that problem, don't you fix the problem? And especially if you're Steve, don't you fix would you be satisfied with that product? 500 and some watts, 220 watts on 5.3 gigahertz on stock clocks. Would you not look at that and say that's a problem? Or if you're playing a game and you're seeing just pitiful 1% lows and you're seeing rocky frame time graphs because of it, don't you go, hey, that's a problem? So I think stock versus stock is a fine enough way to find out your problems. I question its utility on 2-year-old products because we already know what the problems are, and we know the microcode hasn't fixed them, right? In Intel's case. And only you can fix your problems. So that's why I push this BIOS first approach, and I'm going to do another deep dive on latency this time and give it the same treatment I did frame time stability and microstutters. That is BIOS first to really fix the problem, and then we do the cosmetic stuff, Windows tweaks, graphics settings, the Windows dressing, and then we do that afterward. We do BIOS first and we really dial in on that problem. So the thing is, I don't want to hear about your problems, and I'm not going to tell you mine. I don't want to hear the problems with any hardware, really. That's just not the content that interests me. I'm not saying it's not valuable, but I can get to exposing the problems while I work on the solution. Now go tell me which is the more user relevant set of benchmarks. You see a problem and you do nothing about it and you put out some benchmarks. Or you see a problem and you fix it and you put out those benchmarks. Which one applies to the people who bought this product with their hard-earned money and have skin in the game? And so that's my philosophy on reviews. And I was really thinking I didn't want this to be a review channel, and it still can't be in this case because I don't have a 9800 X3D and I'm not willing to opine on a product that I haven't tested. But I was thinking that, and then I thought, man, I cannot wait to get my hands on a 9800 X3D, because that will be an optimized versus optimized comparison. And we will see every problem that the hardware's got, and we will do our utmost to fix those problems. And I'm going to push that too. We're going to overclock. There can be some gains from overclocking that chip, I'm sure. I haven't decided about delidding or anything like that, but there are gains to be had there. There is some performance on the table. Might not be as much of a gap as the 14900K from stock to optimized, but there is something on that table and we're going to get it out. So we're going to tune absolutely everything, put out that product comparison when we do that type of content in the future. Also, I've got an old board. It's going to have to be a Z190 and an old Intel K series chip that we're going to overclock and tune and see how we can optimize that to play more modern titles. And that's going to be some really fun content. And I've started my latency testing. We're going to give that a deep dive treatment the same way we did frame time stability and micro stutters BIOS first. And so we've got a latency deep dive coming up that will be relevant for your shooter games, and that's going to be our test suite, your FPS games. So if this content interests you and you have that spirit of wanting to fix your shit yourself, this is a place for you. Please like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around the next one. Thanks a lot.